Are you aware of all the shadow inventory that's out there right now? Tune in to Tom's Take to find out what that means and how to leverage it.
You're definitely going to want to watch this one.
Welcome back to Tom's Take. Still virtual, still Zooming, still non-essential in Pennsylvania, and that has not stopped us from servicing our clients, which is really what we want to focus on with today's topic, which is the shadow inventory. So I've got Paul Harootunian here from our team, amazing team member. Wouldn't want to be in this foxhole with anybody else, so pumped to have him on. And what we're going to talk about is how we are leveraging shadow inventory. So if you don't know what that means, let me explain it. And then Paul's going to break down how he's using it to help his clients, how we've been able to identify properties for buyers and have them purchase homes. So what shadow inventory means, you might be thinking about the foreclosure crisis, 2008, mortgage meltdown, all that. And the shadow inventory language at that time meant homes the bank had foreclosed on that were going to be coming to the market. That's not what we're talking about here. Right now in the greater Philadelphia area, there are 2,783 homes that are under an active listing contract that have been withdrawn or are temporarily off the market. Those two statuses mean that they may be coming back to the market or will be coming back to the market. And since March 6th, when the state got shut down or the shutdown order was put into place with the state of emergency, we know that it didn't really escalate until a couple weeks later. There are 2,140 homes that went into those statuses. 1,501 are temporarily off the market, 639 are withdrawn. And all this means is that these are properties that are going to be coming back to the market when things calm down, when we see the market come back a little bit, maybe when real estate's made essential. So, Paul, how are you using this to help your buyer clients right now? How are you using this information, and what strategies are you using to get your people ahead of the curve?
Well, absolutely. This is actually a gift. I mean, if you have buyers that actually have to move, and these are properties that are still going to be hitting the market. So if you can, reach out to them, or if they've already seen these properties before and you might have been in the negotiations, this is a perfect time to reach out and say, hey, we're still here. Would you take this number that we offered you before? And if not, they're still, again, temporarily off the market. I'm calling and I'm reaching out to these people for my buyers that are saying, hey, I need to move. So can we get a virtual showing between buyer and seller? Just let them do a FaceTime call and get them through the property. And we have people that are moving that way. It's a little bit different, but it's the same thing, and they're moving forward. Same thing with sellers. Sellers that are thinking about coming onto the market, they got to know this is all competition that's going to hit when this all lifts. So it's imperative to let them know, as your client, what's coming onto the market. And these, withdrawn and temporarily off, they're coming, and they need to know that.
Well, what I love what you said there is, and I don't even think you picked up on this, you're able to predict what's going to happen in the market. You're able to predict inventory. You're able to predict competition. So if you're evaluating as a seller right now and trying to figure out how to time this, which is the biggest question that we've been getting,
sure,
you can say, okay, I know there's going to be 2 or 3 other competing listings that I need to be aware of.
Yeah.
Or from the buy side, and we had Nova from our team just put this property under contract. She had a home that was temporarily off the market as of March 24th. She sold it last week. They did a FaceTime showing, and they were able to negotiate some language into the contract that says that the buyer is entitled to an in-person visit, and they've pushed it out. So now the buyer can control that home. The seller's got a sale. And I've always found that the people that get ahead of what's happening, especially when we see a market shift, and you've been doing this a long time, I've been doing this 19 years, we've been through a few of these. The people that move quickly, they're the ones that end up doing a lot better than the ones that wait to see how it's all going to play out. And I love what she did there, and it worked out really well for the buyer and the seller. It was a total win. So really, there's a lot of information out there, and the biggest thing I would say is, if your agent's not telling you about this, you might need to be talking to somebody else. You might need to be asking better questions. So from the sell side, Paul, you're talking about how to evaluate what the competition looks like. What are you telling your sellers right now in reference to all this shadow inventory? What kind of language are you communicating with them? What kind of message are you sending them?
So, I mean, if they can plan and prepare and they're ready to go, I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting it on the market right now. The problem is sometimes if they don't have a place to go to, Some of them have already moved out. It's vacant. So it's a no-brainer. Let's get it up on the market. Let's do the virtual. All of our listings come with a video to begin with. So, you know, those types of sellers, I'm encouraging. It's not going to hurt you to get on now because the inventory is so low and everybody's in a withdrawn or temporarily off the market to begin with. And we're having a lot of success. I mean, I have people walking the property, doing the virtual, FaceTime video with the owner, and it's working. And you know, I've got a lot of interest on the listings that I have right now. So it's definitely a positive and the right move to make for your sellers if they have a place that they're already going to or they already moved out.
Well, and the key here, what you said, and we'll kind of end with this: if you're not working with someone that's embracing technology right now and understands the components of video, virtual tours, meaning not like the quick minute video. Like, you got to be looking at the utilities in the home. You got to be looking around the lot, or that FaceTime call with a seller. That to me is the best thing to do, where you can be on that call yourself as a showing agent. The listing agent can be there, so everyone kind of knows what's being said. And if people aren't doing that or aren't thinking outside the box, then they're not going to be able to compete when the market turns. And what I see happening here is the showing may become the last thing that goes on. There might be a lot more of this detailed video, virtual tours, virtual showings, and that sort of stuff we're going to start to see happen more and more because people want everything to be really efficient, and we're moving closer to buying properties on your phone. Yep. Which is what everybody wants. They want to hit a button on their phone, just like they do when they get restaurant delivery now. That would have been unheard of years ago, getting a restaurant to deliver to your house like that. Now it's the norm. So to me, it's knowing the information, understanding that there are more homes available than you think, knowing maybe there's some opportunities out there if you want to be aggressive as a buyer, opportunities out there if you want to be aggressive as a seller, and more importantly, the people that are out there looking, they're motivated, they're ready to go. So we've covered a lot here. We talked about shadow inventory. We talked about video. Anything else you want to tell all the people watching this out here that they might need to be aware of as we move into this kind of end of April, beginning of May market where it's still a pretty fluid situation and we don't know exactly how we're going to be operating?
Yeah, I mean, there's opportunity out there. Now's the time to do it. And, you know, if the seller has their head in the sand and they're not doing anything, or you see brand new listings hitting the market with no video, they're dead in the water. Nobody's going to look at it. So, I mean, there's opportunity, and definitely things are moving along just by the numbers that you shared with us. So, you know, if you can do it, now's the time. You'll be ahead of the game and you'll be ahead of the rest of the competition.
For sure. Great stuff, Paul. Thanks for coming on. We'll be back next week. Have a good one. Let us know if you need anything.